Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's video, we're talking about trash talking. And this weekend with Kevin Holland, we heard a lot of it. Is it good? Is it bad? What's my opinion on it? Trash talking has become a big part of combat sports. It really started back with Mike Tyson using that psychological warfare. The way he kind of conducted his interviews, that confidence, that presence really scared people and it really started to gain momentum. Recently, we've seen the Chael Sonnens, the Conor McGregors, and now we're seeing the Kevin Hollands that we saw this weekend really use trash talking to the next level. But the Mike Tysons, we saw them use that psychological warfare, that trash talking before the fight, right? So this is the problem from this weekend, and this is why I got asked a lot, what would I do if I was the coach of Kevin Holland? We saw a lot of talking before, we saw a lot of talking during, and we're seeing even a lot of talks in between the corner, which is one of the biggest problems that I had in this fight. But as a coach now, and as I developed a little bit, through different athletes and different fighters, and one of the big references it reminds me of is recently watching The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, and what it really made me understand as a coach that every athlete is different, and you can't, I'm a fighter who, when I was training, everything had to be structured. My life is still this way, structured, disciplined, routined, timed out. I know exactly when I'm working out, how long I'll be working out for, where I will be. Everything is very timed and strategic. But a lot of people don't work that way. Some people like that randomness. Some people want to do things on their own. And the same kind of thing happens when it comes to trash talking, right? We saw George St. Pierre be the respectful type of guy. But we know that there is some positivity to the trash talking, whether it's getting in your opponent's head or whatever it is, you have to kind of play around and use that. Okay, so now that we know that everyone's different, and that Last Dance documentary, the difference was when we talk about Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was slightly different than the other athletes. He had to go out, he had to party, he had a different mindset in order to perform on fight day. So I think this is where we have to start treating athletes different. Kevin Holland versus George St. Pierre versus myself. Everyone has this unique way, right? So the traditional martial artist, respectful. The newer age, which we're having to see to get fights, to build, to get main event status, you need to have that talking. But I want you to understand that talking can be positive. Using that as a warfare or even self-talk. I have a bad habit, maybe not a bad habit, but I like to talk to myself, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm going through things, I'm brainstorming, I'm just talking out loud, planning. And maybe in a fight we've seen with the Tony Fergusons, he's getting himself motivated. He's talking to the commentators. We saw Max Holloway, talk to the commentators saying, this is my house. That's a motivation. He's getting amped up. He's staying focused on the fight. And I like that. I think that's good. It's positive. They're using that fuel to kind of go out there and get those finishes, make the fight exciting. And that's what combat sports should be about, the excitement. And that's what Kevin Holland was trying to do going back to him. He was trying to bring excitement to the fight. But now, you're in the fight, in between rounds, this is where I would have a problem. While his coach, Travis Lutter, was trying to talk to him, give him, advice, which, Travis very well experienced, especially on the ground. He needed that ground help, but instead he was too busy talking, he was too busy calling over Khabib to try to be funny, to create that excitement. And to me, that point, I knew he lost because of a lack of focus, right? So trash talking and focus have to go together, right? Going back to Tony Ferguson, going back to Max Holloway, when they were talking, when they were trash talking during the fight, you saw the focus in their eyes, still that eye of the tiger. But the body language of Kevin Holland, hands down, laughing, talking to Khabib. Yes, he is a different type of fighter, but for me, I have to really stay focused on my fighter. There should have been that eye contact, between the coach and the fighter, sitting him down, getting him amped up. Now, there was an example of that night I'd like to reference. It was James Krause and Dawson. And what happened was Dawson could have been round 2 rounds. James Krause came into that 3rd round and got in his face and said, look at me, stare me in the eyes. And he says, you are possibly down 2 rounds. Focus, we need a finish, go and do what you gotta do. That's the type of connection, the relationship, the focus where maybe Kevin Holland needed in that time. Stop talking to Pete, sit down, and let's focus on the fight, do what we gotta do. We're getting taken down, we gotta move our feet, we gotta set strikes up, we can't overthrow. So there was things that could have been done, and that's where the biggest issue of the trash talking came. But there's some positivity to it. Last year, I talked about Kevin Holland being my breakout fighter of the year. Am I still excited to see him watch? Yes, but I thought the trash talking was a little too much. It showed me a lack of focus, it showed me a lack of discipline, and really, he needed to stay focused. He didn't show me that will to win. And even after the fight, which is the positive thing of everything, listening to his post-fight interviews, respect came out of all of it. No matter what you say in the trash talk before, during, after, as martial artists, as sportsmen, I think the important part is that we stay respectful. We take our losses, but really for Kevin Holland, it's more about, I need to stay focused on these fights. Talking takes energy, right? If you have the energy to talk between rounds, you're not really going out there. The minute between rounds is a recovery time. You need to recover from that 5 minutes that you pushed yourself to. But when you're talking, you can't recover. You're wasting more energy. You can't fully get the oxygen in that you need. And next thing you know, you're going into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, more fatigue. Sit down or stand, keep your body language up, keep quiet, learn the instructions from your coach, and the time, in that corner is so valuable, that 1 minute. When you get out, do your trash talking again, make the excitement, but you needed definitely solid instruction during that time, and your focus wasn't there to receive it. I'm still excited to see him. I still think there's great potential for Kevin Holland. I just want all the fighters out there to make sure you use trash talking appropriately, right? Don't lose focus. Don't overly try to sell the fight with the excitement. Do it respectfully, do it with class, and make sure you do it as, again, to build the sport in a positive way. Don't take the beef after the fight, shake hands, and let's move on and continue to grow the sport. All right, so hopefully I gave you the goods, the bads of trash talking, but you need that. I still want to say that trash talking is a good thing, but there's a wrong way when we start insulting religion, politics. Yes, stay away from those things. But when you're using it, and I hear fighters on the opposite spectrum say, well, I don't like to trash talk. Well, trash talking is a little bit different than being confident. You need to be confident. You're a combat sports athlete who's going into a cage or ring to fight in front of people. Confidence is the #1 thing you can have going into battle. So take that confidence, okay? Trash talk a little bit, but if you're not that trash talker, you can look your opponent in the eye in your press conferences, on your social media posts, and say, I am confident that this man will not beat me. I am more technical, I am more powerful, I am more strategic than him. I don't see him 0 way any chance of him beating me. That's confidence. That's not trash talking, okay? So make sure you build that confidence. Make sure you build that, aura around you where you're going as that invincible being. Be that Mike Tyson before you enter the ring. All right, so make sure you keep liking, subscribing, hit the notification bells here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Make sure you support the channel sponsors, Hayabusa Fight, as well as Perfect Sports Nutrition. Use code Bazooka20 to get 20% off. If you're enjoying the Bazooka merchandise, easy to head over to bazookashop.com to pick up your tank tops, t-shirts, and other merchandise we have. Hope you're enjoying all the videos here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA, and we'll see you next time.